Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while that I made any video on Vector Network Analyzer, and I think I already made only one video on my LiteVNA. Before that, you will find on my channel that I was making videos on my Rhodes and Schwartz desktop to make measurements or using S11, S12, S22's measurements using that particular device. Now I got this beautiful device which is known as LiteVNA. I think it's a spin-off of Nano VNA. I'm not sure. So this the reason I bought this guy because this has a longer frequency range. So it goes from 50 kilohertz all the way up to 6.3 gigahertz. So that's pretty good. And it's made by this company called Zinco. It's not a sponsor, but I'm just saying because I just wanted to make sure whatever I'm getting from AliExpress, it should be legit. So it's a beautiful device that has a 4.3-inch screen. So I already made a video on calibration, how to calibrate this, and I calibrated this device from 50 kilohertz to 3 gigahertz, I believe. Yeah, 3 gigahertz. That's why when I open up my calibration and when I change my stop frequency to 6 gigahertz, that's why you're seeing this dip. Otherwise, you should have seen a very straight line, and you should have seen it at the open side of this. So it should be you shouldn't see all of these lines on the Smith chart either. But we're just going to make few measurements, and I'm going to show you. You can always recalibrate your VNA if you want. But for our purposes, we're going to use this VNA to perform a couple of measurements and see if these measurements make sense. Now, in order for me to, I'll be making a couple of these measurements. I'll be making measurement using an attenuator. So if you were to look at this attenuator is about 20 dB. All right. And you can always cascade them together. So in my case, I have cascaded two of these guys. One is 10 dB and the other one is 6 dB. And attenuators generally they are passive devices, and you don't have to worry about the direction. You can either mount it like this or mount it like this on your device. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything else. It will attenuate your signal, and they are generally passive devices, and you can always use this. So what should I expect to see when I perform my VNA measurements? I should expect to see my S12s, S21s from 1 to 2, from port 1 to port 2, which is going to be called S21. I should get about negative 16 dB of attenuation. And my S11 should be less than 10 dB. Minus 10 dB should be less than that, which means my matching is perfect, which means I am attenuating a signal that I'm supposed to attenuate based on these two attenuators, and that should be negative 16 dB. My signal strength should, if it's at 0, should be down by negative 16 dB. These are the two things that I'm supposed to see when I'm performing measurement using this. And this is the Yagi antenna that I got. So we're going to also look at the measurement of this guy as well. Since it's a single port device, I would only be interested in seeing S11. You can look at SWR and you can perform other measurement as well. But generally, when we want to see, we just basically want to see S11. So we're going to do this. This is operating at 2.4 gigahertz, should be a directional Yagi antenna, if you guys can see this. So let's quickly plug in our device. These are 2-port devices, so we need both of these 2 ports. That's why I'm using a patch cable to connect this. So on the other side, just simply go in, screw this on. I mean, I'm surprised that the devices are so small now. Before, these devices used to cost so much money. Now you can have these handheld devices, which are amazing. So now all the markers are on. You can always turn on the traces. You can go to display. You can go to traces. I can turn every single one of them off and just trace one on. Now, this is a beautiful graph that you're seeing right now. So if you were to move your marker, this is the graph of your S11. So S11 should be the reflection coming in from the port to 1 due to mismatch of the load, which means load is properly matched. So this is generally a 50 ohm load and 50 ohm wire. So which means marker 1, everything looks good, minus 20, 28. You're supposed to be less than, the rule of thumb is you're supposed to be less than negative 10 dB. So we're good, except here, but it's still we're good. We're still at negative 20, negative 12 because of the dip. If I mentioned, if you guys have noticed that, and before I plugged in the device, there was a dip. I haven't properly calibrated this, but we're looking at this spectrum from 10 megahertz all the way up to 6 gigahertz. That's why. So that looks pretty good. You can always have another trace. Click on this, go back, and you can look at the format. You're looking at a log mag. You can always look at the SWR as well. So for example, if I want to look at the SWR is 1.6. I can always use this rotating knob here to move this guy. So anything, the rule of thumb says anything that is around 1 or even 2 is fine. But this thing is moving somewhere around 1.5. That's the max value that you're getting, which means SWR is good. You're supposed to get an SWR of 1, but anything close to 1 or anything close to 2 is good enough. 2 means 50% of the power is being reflected back. So even though it still is a good thing that SWR is somewhere around in that vicinity, and at lower frequencies, it even went up to 1, close to 1.024. So that's pretty good. The other thing is you can always use multiple traces if you want. So for example, if you can go to trace and go to trace 1, so there will be another trace 1. Now this particular trace, automatically it will give you S21. Now this S21, if you were to look at it, this is from port 1 to port 2. So it's generally backwards. So it's not S12, it's actually port 1 to 2, from port 1 to 2, because this is going to be used as an attenuator. Imagine this is being a source, and then from source you're sending a signal, and this signal is being attenuated, and attenuated signal is going to some other device. So that's pretty good. So if you were to look at this blue line, that blue line is saying that's pretty good because you're getting negative 16 dB. And you're supposed to get negative 16 dB because this is cascaded attenuator. One is 10 dB and one is 6 dB. So if I were to move this line, now if you were to look at this, somewhere around 3 gigahertz, remember there was a dip. It was not properly calibrated. That's why you're seeing about negative 10 dB. So you're not actually at 3.723, you're not getting exactly negative 16 dB because it was not properly calibrated up till that frequency. It was only calibrated up till 3 gigahertz. So that's fine. We already know this. So that's why we know, okay, that's why this thing is coming in like this. What else you can measure? For example, let's say I can go back. I can look at the format. I can look at the format like this as well. Let's look at the format, log mag. All right. If I want to look at what else I can look at, I can look at shunt. I can look at series X, Z, shunt. These don't matter here. Let's go back. I can also look at delays as well. Let's see. Okay, let's go to S11. If I want to look at resistance, I can also do that as well. So the resistance is somewhere around 43.74. So that's pretty good. I can also look at the reactance as well. Reactance is somewhere around 16.72 ohms. So that's pretty good. So these are the couple of things. I think these are the necessary measurement that generally we do when we are working with attenuators, unless and until you're working with something else. So that's the idea behind this. There are a lot of different things you can do with this. I'm going to make a separate tutorial for that as well. So that's the idea. So let's quickly unplug this and try to measure this antenna that we have here. So I'm just going to simply unplug this, leave this as is, and I'm going to remove these attenuators. And instead of that, we're going to simply plug in our antenna, or we're going to screw our antenna. All right, since my antenna is already screwed, now let's go back All right, so I can see this. Let's go back this way. Let's display, go to traces. Let's look at the reflection, log meg. Uh, let's go back. Let's look at this. Let me turn off the traces first. Now let's turn on the trace. Let's go back. Let's look at the reflection. Here we go. So this antenna at 3.73, you're getting about negative 0.65. It's a horrible antenna at that particular frequency. Now let's see. Let's move this marker. At 2.4 gigahertz, you're getting about negative 15 dB. So which means it's pretty good, because the cable itself also matters. See, by changing the position of my cable, the measurement changes as well. So now if I were to look at this, so at 2.495, negative 17 dB, so that is pretty good. This is what we expect to see. Is this antenna operating at some other frequency as well? Heck no. Why? Because you're getting negative 3. So anything that is less than 10 dB is good. So if I were to move this over here, so at 2.495, at 2.43, you're getting about negative 11 dB, which means your S11 is pretty good. And all the other frequency band, now when I move this, so from 2.585, this is terrible actually. This is a very terrible performance of this antenna. And if I were to move here at 4.5, poof, and this is also operating at 4.682 as well. And where you have a negative 45 dB of your S11. Now, if I were to move this and try to see if this antenna is operating at 5.75 megahertz, which is a 5.8 gigahertz band for Wi-Fi, this is also quite terrible actually. Very bad actually. So it's a very bad antenna at 5.8 frequency, but at 2.4 gigahertz, this is quite good. And this seems to be performing better at this frequency as well. There's a small dip somewhere around 2.49 megahertz. So as we expect to see that this is supposed to perform best at 2.4 gigahertz band, terrible at 5.8. So this antenna can be used only for that purposes as well. So now, if you were to go back, if you were to see the SWR of this guy, this is horrible actually. Now, at this point, if I were to move this marker, see at 26, you're getting 12 at 1.6 gigahertz. Now, when I move this, let's go back to this dip. At 2.4 is good. It's 1.5. That's pretty good. And then you're seeing a dip over here, and then you're seeing a dip over here. So based on these two measurements, I can see that at 2.4 gigahertz, you can do pretty good. It's doing pretty good. We can always look at the resistance as well. So the resistance 75 ohms. So that's really bad, because this is supposed to be a 50 ohm antenna. You can always use the resistance plot to actually see the frequency as well. So at somewhere around 59, that's pretty good. 2.7, 2.4 is pretty good. 84 mega ohms, 84 ohms. So you can do these, a couple of these measurements to see the performance of your antenna and to see the performance of your different devices. So if you guys have any questions, so that's the basic tutorial on how to use your portable VNA. And if you guys have any questions, leave it in a comment section. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching.